Good morning, Madam Chair, honorable members of Parliament, griffier, support staff, persons in the Tribune, those tuned in via radio and social media platforms, people of St. Martin, good morning and blessed day. I am here today to discuss the audit report of the General Audit Chamber issued in April 2023 concerning the process of ex officio tax assessments. However, prior to going into my presentation, I would like to acknowledge the concerns of MP Duran, MP Lacruz, and MP Irian. It is well noted that you received, the members of Parliament received a letter yesterday outlining a specific concern as it relates to Budget 2025. And what I will state on this matter at this moment is you will be receiving a subsequent letter directly from me as Minister of Finance outlining exactly what has transpired with the 2025 budget. I have been nothing but truthful the entire time, so MP La Cruz, know that that will continue even in this letter upcoming to Parliament. I will now begin with a brief presentation, starting with an introduction to explain what ex officio tax assessments are, their purpose, and the reasons they are issued. Following that, I will outline the intent of the audit as described in the General Audit Chamber's report and provide an overview of the tax obligations for both individuals and businesses. Next, I will present a brief explanation of the current process for handling individual and business ex officio tax assessments, offering insight into how these assessments are issued and processed. I will then summarize the main findings of the General Audit Chamber, followed by a response to each finding, clarifying the ministry's stance and the steps that will be taken in response. Lastly, I will discuss the measures that will be implemented to improve the ex officio assessment process. These measures will be based on both the report's recommendations and ongoing efforts within the tax administration, ensuring that we move forward and keep our minds fixed on what the future of finance would entail. At the end of the day, the goal remains the same: to improve the tax administration's process. I would like to thank the General Audit Chamber for this report, as reports like these are crucial in helping us review, analyze, and follow up on key areas that require improvement. We all share the common goal of strengthening and enhancing these processes. So, what is an ex officio tax assessment? An ex officio tax assessment, or Amshalve aanslag in Dutch, is an estimated tax assessment issued by the tax administration to businesses or individuals who fail to file their tax returns. Again, who fail to file their tax returns. It is important to note that if you have filed your tax return as a business or individual, you will not receive an ex officio tax assessment. The only instance in which ex officio assessments are issued is when no tax return has been filed by the individual or the business. Aim of the investigation of ex officio tax assessments by the General Audit Chamber. The General Audit Chamber's investigation aimed to verify whether ex officio tax assessments are reasonable, meaning that the estimates made should reflect realistic projections of an individual's or business's income, turnover, profit, or other relevant financial factors. In addition to the reasonableness of the estimates, their aim with this audit is also to verify the effectiveness of adopting an ex officio tax assessment. Under normal circumstances, the burden of proof in tax matters rests with the tax authority. However, in cases of ex officio tax assessments, this burden shifts to the taxpayer, who must now prove whether the ex officio tax assessment is inaccurate. The goal of the tax administration is to issue ex officio tax assessments. I apologize, is not to issue ex officio tax assessments. On the contrary, every individual and business is strongly encouraged to file their tax returns on time. Receiving an ex officio tax assessment means not only an estimated tax liability, but also the imposition of surcharges and fines, resulting in a more complex and time-consuming process. The process of issuing individual and business ex officio assessments. Before presenting the findings, I would like to provide a brief explanation of the current process relating to ex officio tax assessments, which are issued for both individuals and businesses. The responsibility for issuing all assessments, including both regular and ex officio assessment, lies with the tax assessor or assessors. I now move on to individual ex officio tax assessments. For individuals, the ex officio tax assessments are manually calculated by tax assessors. More complex cases are assigned to experienced assessors. The tax assessors rely on a combination of long-standing unwritten guidelines and established tax laws. This requires assessors to make reasonable estimations based on available information. Once the estimated taxable amount is determined, a 10% surcharge is applied along with an additional fine. As for business ex officio assessments, in contrast, the ex officio assessments for businesses are automatically generated by the system without the direct involvement of the tax assessors. The calculation is based on the estimated income previously reported by the business owner at the time of registration of the business at the tax office. This estimated amount is then subject to 25% surcharge and a fine. Proceeding with the findings. I will now present the findings as outlined in the General Audit Chamber's report. First, I will examine the findings related to ex officio tax assessments for individuals, followed by those concerning business taxpayers. Each finding will be briefly summarized, followed by a response outlining the ministry's position and my perspective on the matter, including the steps that will be taken to address the issue. Findings on individual taxpayers. 1, lack of a written policy for ex officio assessments. Currently, there is no established written policy governing the ex officio assessment process. The absence of a clear policy presents risks such as lack of standardization, reduced transparency, difficulties in training new employees, and inconsistencies in assessments. While it is acknowledged that tax assessors are trained, qualified, and experienced, and they must exercise professional discretion, I do agree with the General Audit Chamber that having written policies in place is essential. A well-documented policy will serve as a guideline for tax assessors, ensuring continuity in the assessment process, particularly in cases where staff transitions occur. This will help new employees seamlessly take over responsibilities while maintaining a consistent and standardized approach to estimating ex officio assessments. Additionally, such a policy can serve as an internal control mechanism, providing a structured framework that can be tested to verify the accuracy, reliability, and fairness of the ex officio tax assessment process. Implementing these measures will contribute to greater transparency, accountability, and efficiency within the tax administration. As such, this recommendation will be implemented and a formal written policy will be developed to govern ex officio tax assessments. Number two, risk of arbitrary action. The General Audit Chamber noted that ex officio tax assessments are not reviewed by another employee and that surcharges are not systematically verified. The tax office has confirmed this finding. Ex officio tax assessments are sent on behalf of the head inspector, and while additional checks and controls may improve the process, they are not currently feasible due to limited staffing. However, a possible solution being explored is the automation of ex officio tax assessments calculations for individuals, as is done for businesses. If successfully implemented, tax assessors will review system-generated assessments rather than manually estimating them, which may help reduce their workload and provide a more reasonable tax assessment in a more timely manner. While conducting individual checks on every single assessment is impractical, given current constraints, random sampling and verification can be introduced as a quality control measure. It is important to stress that the best way to avoid ex officio tax assessments is for individuals and businesses to file their tax returns on time. The ministry will continue efforts to increase awareness about tax obligations and provide guidance on how to file properly. Number three, lack of tax inspectors. Currently, there is only one tax inspector employed within the tax administration. However, the department responsible for tax assessments, which includes ex officio tax assessments, has 7 tax assessors, 3 junior assessors, and 4 senior assessors. Filling critical vacancies remains a major challenge throughout government's apparatus, mainly due to outdated salary scales and an outdated function book that does not offer competitive salaries. This matter is being addressed as part of the Lance Paquette project. Number 4, lack of internal records and accountability measures. The Audit Chamber highlighted that there are no systematic internal records to track how often ex officio assessments are reviewed or to compare them with subsequent tax filings. This issue stems from limitations within the current tax system. Unfortunately, the system does not differentiate between ex officio assessments and regular tax assessments, making it impossible to extract specific data on ex officio tax assessments. This issue can only be resolved with the implementation of a new tax system, which is being procured under Theme C of the Lance Paquette. Number 5, effectiveness of surcharges and their impact on compliance. A surcharge is added to ex officio tax assessments, 10% for individuals and 25% for businesses, to ensure that estimated assessments are not too low and to encourage taxpayers to file. Approximately 38,000 tax assessments were sent out last year. However, due to system limitations, we do not know how many were ex officio assessments and how much were regular assessments, as the system does not differentiate. For individuals, ex officio tax assessments were sent for 2019, while for businesses, they were sent for the year 2020. Unfortunately, due to limitations in the existing tax system, we do not have concrete data on the effectiveness of these surcharges in prompting taxpayers to file or pay their taxes. A new tax system would allow us to track compliance rates more accurately. Number 6, delivery of ex officio tax assessments via postal system. The General Audit Chamber noted that the tax administration does not verify whether taxpayers actually receive their assessments. Mail delivery on St. Martin has proven to be challenging, mainly due to lack of proper street names, a need for updated correct addresses, and the lack of mailboxes at residence and business gates continue to be a challenge for effective mail delivery, which has led to there being a lack of respect for mail on St. Martin. These well-documented issues by the current postal system can reduce tax compliance and increase administrative costs. Solutions being explored include e-government project. This aims to integrate address updates between government entities, the census, TIAT, VROMI, and the tax office, as well as non-governmental organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce. Digital notifications. A future tax system could allow for email notifications, but this would require legislative amendments, given the option of receiving these tax assessments by mail and or digitally. For now, the legal obligation remains on the taxpayer to file their taxes, and the tax administration's role is to ensure that assessments are properly issued and documented. Number 7, denial of sampling. Regarding this matter, the General Audit Chamber has stated that they were denied access to certain records due to concerns over sensitivity and privacy. While the Audit Chamber asserts its legislative authority, the tax office has justified its denial based on confidentiality obligations. Tax officials have a legal duty of confidentiality as stipulated in Article 50 of the General National Law on Taxes. However, according to the Tax Authority, Articles 1 and 26 of the National Ordinance General Audit Chamber, along with the explanatory memorandum, do not extend the General Audit Chamber's authority to include the auditing of taxpayer information. This is an issue that requires further clarification between the General Audit Chamber and the Tax Office, supported by legal advice, to ensure that all parties fully understand the legal boundaries and obligations. It is crucial to respect the authority of the General Audit Chamber and comply with its legal mandate, while at the same time ensuring that tax confidentiality laws are not violated. To achieve this, the matter will be addressed separately to provide clear guidance on what is legally permissible moving forward. These were the findings and responses related to the ex officio tax assessments for individuals. I will now present the findings as outlined in the General Audit Chamber's report relating to ex officio tax assessments for business taxpayers. 1. Production of unverified automated ex officio assessments. Currently, business ex officio tax assessments are automatically generated without additional verification. Moving forward, we will explore methods to enhance the accuracy and oversight of these calculations. Potential approaches include sampling-based verification to ensure the reliability of the assessments, IT application control testing to evaluate the accuracy of the system's calculation and identify potential errors or inefficiencies. Implementing these measures will help ensure that ex officio tax assessments are both fair and accurate while maintaining the integrity of the tax system. Number 2, inadequate understanding of individual business circumstances. The report noted that assessments do not always reflect business-specific conditions. This is an area that requires further evaluation to determine how best to refine the estimation process. Number 3, outdated ICT systems, the SIA tax system. The current tax system is outdated and poses a significant risk to tax administration. If it were to fail completely, tax operations could be severely disrupted. Efforts are already underway to secure a new tax system which will provide better functionality, accuracy, and efficiency. Passwords not regularly changed. The tax authority acknowledges the findings in the report regarding the absence of a mandatory password change requirement. This matter has since been discussed with the head of IT to ensure compliance with modern cybersecurity protocols. While this is the case, the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information remains low. Access to the SIA system, which is an application installed on the employees' laptops, requires prior authentication. Tax employees must first log into their laptops using a password that is routinely changed and subject to specific complex requirements. Since the SIA system is only accessible after a secure login to the device, this adds an additional layer of protection. Nevertheless, IT security remains a top priority as we must continuously work to prevent hacking, phishing, and other cyber threats that could compromise key taxpayer data. Ongoing evaluations will be conducted to further strengthen system security and ensure compliance with best practices. Number 5, lack of integration between the tax office, the receiver, the census, and the Chamber of Commerce systems. Interdepartmental data sharing remains a major challenge. Currently, there is limited system integration, making real-time updates difficult. These system integrations are also a key part of the eGov Trust Fund project. While the Receiver's Office has recently received viewing rights within the tax system, the ultimate goal is to establish seamless data integration across all relevant agencies. The following measures will be implemented in response to the report's findings. These measures address all recommendations of the Audit Chamber's report. 1, development of written policies and work instructions. Clear guidelines will be established in collaboration with the head inspector for determining reasonable estimates in ex officio tax assessments. 2, exploring automation of individual tax assessments. We will assess the feasibility of automating individual tax assessments to allow tax assessors to review cases more efficiently, thereby reducing workload and to assess in a more timely manner. Sampling of ex officio tax assessments. While each ex officio tax assessment may not be individually verified by another tax official, an annual sample review will be conducted. The findings from this review will be discussed internally to serve as a learning tool for tax assessors. Taxpayer education and awareness sessions. Sessions will be organized to educate taxpayers about their obligations and provide guidance on correctly filing their taxes. Over the past 2 years, tax-related sessions during Financial Literacy Month have been the most attended. As promised, these sessions will be held more frequently and not limited to Financial Literacy Month, recognizing that knowledge is key. Enhancing public awareness through PR and educational content. The Tax Office PR's team will work on producing more explanatory videos to inform and assist the public in understanding their tax obligations. Advancing the implementation of a new tax system. Efforts will continue to modernize and implement a new tax system for country St. Martin, ensuring efficiency and effectiveness in the tax administration. I would like to express my gratitude to the General Audit Chamber for this report and to the honorable members of Parliament for the opportunity to discuss it. This report highlights several key takeaways that are important to address. Firstly, ex officio tax assessments are only issued due to non-compliance when individuals and businesses fail to fulfill their responsibility to file taxes in a timely manner. Before an ex officio tax assessment is issued, the tax office provides multiple opportunities for compliance. For individuals, an invitation to file is sent, followed by a reminder. If no filing occurs, an ex officio assessment is issued, which can still be challenged by submitting the required tax return. For businesses, an invitation to file is issued, but no additional reminders are sent before the ex officio assessment is imposed. Businesses also have the opportunity to object by filing. This report rightfully highlights inefficiencies in the ex officio tax assessment process, and as indicated, necessary improvements will be made. However, we must also recognize the risk of not issuing ex officio tax assessments. Not issuing these means less tax filings and ultimately lower government revenue. It is important to remember that individuals and businesses that do not file have already violated their legal obligations, whether it concerns income tax or business. At the core of this discussion is a fundamental truth. A thriving country requires functioning and well-funded government. Our ability to maintain quality health care, education, judicial services, social welfare, and infrastructure depends on all individuals and businesses fulfilling their tax obligations. Last year, ex officio income tax assessments for 2019 were issued, as well as ex officio business tax assessments for 2020. Therefore, there is still an opportunity for taxpayers to file their returns for the subsequent years 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, which will ensure that they will not receive an ex officio tax assessment over those years. I strongly encourage all individuals and businesses to file their taxes proactively to avoid unnecessary ex officio tax assessments. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Minister Gums. I see that we have the first member of Parliament